Okay, thank you. Mr. Dare Akinfosile is an emergency response specialist with the First Aid Services. He is well versed in the subject of safety and has earned several St. John Ambulance First Aid qualifications. He is a man with 22 years of first aid experience and 10 years as an emergency preparedness and first aid trainer. Wow. He's really good in what he does. You can see his portfolio is fully loaded. And also Mr. Babalola El-Imam is a principal consultant and executive partner, co-founder of Action in Danger Services, AIDS, Action in Danger Services. He's an entrepreneur, a humanitarian, a professional, and competent first aid trainer with a strong IT background. His major strength includes, but is not limited to, the ability to deliver effectively to a variety of audiences. So I want to believe I'll be leaving you in good hands for the next, say, 1 hour. Please, I would like to urge us, implore us to pay avid attention as they listen vividly so that you can learn something. For schools that have a lot of their teachers listening, it's an added advantage because if one person misses out something, the other person is able to pick it. So I leave you to Mr. Lola and Mr. Dare. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So I will be speaking from Dare's screen. So there's a problem with my own screen. So if you could just switch to Dare's screen. Okay. So without wasting much time, I will get to the presentation because we don't really have time. I want to say a huge thank you for the privilege given to us to do this program and to oversee this session, which is the masterclass. Because of the limitation of time, we will tend to just be brief and just go over most of the procedures. I will be handling most of the theory, Dare will be handling most of the practical demonstrations. Okay, please confirm that you can see the screen. All right, so introduction, rationale, and principles of first aid. So here are some recent first aid cases in Nigeria, NFF technical director. Now, you may wonder, okay, the focus of first aid for educators. People will tend to think that the scope is about just managing children. However, it is managing children in your care and your co-workers as well. So, regardless of your previous knowledge on first aid, we would just like to go over basic first aid. So, these are first aid guidelines. Stephen Keshi died some years back. Amadou Shuaibu also died in 2016. Some people said it was heart attack, sudden cardiac arrest, but the two are actually different. So here I'm just going to differentiate between a heart attack and a cardiac arrest. Don't worry, don't focus too much on this. It may sound technical. A heart attack is usually caused by some obstruction of blood supply to the heart muscle, while a cardiac arrest usually happens when the heart stops beating. A heart attack can lead to a cardiac arrest, but not in all cases. So, but a cardiac arrest can result from many other medical conditions. Okay. So these are also some statistics. First aid. Very interesting one from the American Heart Association, and this says about 88% of cardiac arrests occur at home. However, sadly, only 32% of cardiac arrest victims get help from a bystander. So what that means or implies that if you're ever to witness a cardiac arrest, there is an almost 90% chance that the victim will be a family member, a friend, or neighbor. So the question is, how prepared are you? The World Health Organization recommends learning CPR as a means to reduce deaths from drowning. The agency estimates that up to 200,000 lives in the US alone can be saved each year if CPR was performed early enough. So the life you could be saving could be that of your loved one or could be yours. So earlier on, we had a definition of first aid. I have one here as well, and it is from the International Liaison Committee on Resuscitation, and first aid as the helping behaviors and initial care provided for an acute illness or injury. So why do we give first aid? To save lives, to prevent further injury of patients, and to promote quick recovery. By giving first aid, you are helping to sustain that person's life, you're preventing it from getting worse, and helping the body to recover faster. So what are your responsibilities as a first aider? I have an acronym here called SATAR. S is for safety. Ensure the safety of yourself. Safety is the most important in any emergency scene. Safety of bystanders, safety of the casualty, safety of the scene. You are also expected to perform an assessment of the scene, an assessment of casualties involved as well. Make a diagnosis, and your diagnosis should inform your plan of action for treatment. Also arrange for further help. Arrange for referral for further medical help, and also document whatever help has been given. I know it may sound like I'm going a bit too fast, but my focus, or our focus, is to focus on practical session. Okay. So, for personal protection and minimizing the risk of cross-infection. This is regardless of whether there's a pandemic or not. General safety precautions expect you to wash your hands, wear latex-free disposable gloves, cover cuts and grazes on your hands with waterproof dressings, wear a plastic apron when dealing with large quantities of body fluids, and wear plastic goggles to protect your eyes. Dispose of all waste safely. Do not touch a wound with your bare hands. Do not breathe, cough, or sneeze over a wound. Okay, as an extra piece of caution, you may protect yourself from infection, carry around portable equipment like pocket masks or face shields, hand sanitizers to clean your hands, and latex-free disposable gloves. Of course, in a pandemic of this nature, you're also advised to maintain social distance. All right, it is important to establish consent when managing a casualty. In the case of minors, parental consent should be sought. However, in a situation where the parental consent cannot be sought, you should commence emergency procedures as minors cannot give consent. If the casualty is unconscious and unable to give consent due to their injuries, you can assume consent and begin treatment. You should not commence treatment if a casualty refuses your offer. Remember, a casualty reserves the right to refuse your treatment or choose their preferred care provider. So basic actions at an emergency would include surveying the scene. Is the scene safe? What happened? How many people are injured? And are there bystanders willing to help? So it is your job to ensure that the scene is safe, find out what happened, determine the urgency of each condition and prioritize, and then delegate bystanders to help you. So summary of steps to take: make the area safe, assess casualties, get help, give emergency aid, and continue to monitor your victims. So calling for emergency services. The numbers to call if you're in Lagos State are 767 or 112. 767 works in Lagos State, 112 works nationwide. When you call, remember to tell them your name and phone number. Emphasize the location. Be very, very specific. nature and seriousness of the incident, number of casualties and nature of their injuries, victim's name if known, any other relevant medical information, details of hazards such as chemicals, crowd, traffic, and what have you. So, guidelines on basic life support. We'll start by conducting a scene survey. The scene survey is to assess if the area is safe from any dangers for the first aider to safely approach the casualty. And the principles of a scene survey include look, listen, and think before you act. Some of the things you might be looking out for are hazards that may pose a danger to you, bystanders, or casualty. These are people, such as unruly crowd, fire, water, unsafe structures, animals, gases or fumes, electricity, sharp objects, oncoming vehicles. There may be others as well. So casualty examination would include conducting a primary survey and conducting a secondary survey. Okay. So in basic life support, the casualty examination would include the ERABCD protocol, which Gary will be demonstrating in a few seconds. However, let's just quickly define some terms. CPR. CPR is cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and this refers to a sequence of chest compressions and rescue breaths used to revive a casualty who has stopped breathing. We're also going to show you how to use a machine called the automated external defibrillator to restart the heart for a casualty whose heart has stopped beating. So this is what the AED looks like. It has a central panel with 2 electrode pads, and we'll see how that works in a bit. At this point, I'll be changing the screen to Dari as he will demonstrate the practical steps to the DRABCD protocol. Dari, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm switching to you.
Can you see me? Okay. The mic on.
Yes, the mic is on. Dari is on.
Okay, guys, welcome. I hope you guys can hear me. So I'll move straight to the demonstration. DRABCD. So this is what I will do. I will demonstrate the conventional approach to cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and then I will also explain how you approach CPR in light of COVID-19. So this is what I do. So you approach the casualty. Our focus now is on the adult management. So you approach the casualty safely. Danger. Remember, maybe it's a school playground. Check for equipment that are damaged. Ensure that everyone is safe. Whether it's in the case of the fire, not jump into a burning building. Ensure you are safe. Approach the casualty safely, and then check for response. So, is this casualty responding? If you know the name of the casualty, call out the name of the casualty. Hello, 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 boy, girl, what's wrong with you? Benny, Tayo, Babalola, okay. If the person is not responding, if the casualty is not responding, the next thing you want to do is to call 767 or 112. So if you are in Lagos, you call 767. Any other place in Nigeria, you can 112. So you call the ambulance is on the way. However, okay, so this is good for someone who has no first aid knowledge. In an emergency, just remember to call 711. The emergency dispatcher will be able to guide you through certain things, even if you don't know what to do. But if you know what to do, again, approach casualties safely, check for response. If the casualty is not responding before this pandemic, so the ideal thing would have been to open the airway to check the casualties breathing by placing your ear close to the nose to feel for the breath, to listen to the casualty's breath, and your eyes focus on the chest to see if the chest is rising and falling. Unfortunately, in light of COVID-19, this is not recommended. Okay, and there are two basic considerations. The first one is this person a member of your household? If the person is a member of your household, you should do what is conventional. That is, you check for response if the person is breathing or not. When you start performing CPR, you perform your two artificial ventilation, or what we call the rescue breath. Okay, so let's go over this again. Remember to check for danger, check for response. If the person is not responding conventionally, what you are supposed to do is to open the airway, check for breathing, and now you open the airway, palm on the forehead, 2 fingers on the jaw, you tilt the head backward, and you check for about 10 seconds while your eyes are focused on the chest to see if the chest is rising and falling. If the person is not breathing, of course, then you call 767 or 112. As long as the person is not breathing, there's no other thing for you to do than to commence cardiopulmonary resuscitation. That's CPR. So what you have to do is place the heel of one hand at the center of the chest, interlock with the other. Ensure your arms, elbows are locked in, your arms are straight, your back is straight, and then you lean forward so that your chest is over the casualty's chest, and your arms are perpendicular to the chest. So this is what you want to do. And then you compress 30 times. What I'm doing now is a conventional cardiopulmonary resuscitation where there's no risk of transmission of the COVID-19 or coronavirus. So you check for breathing, the person is not breathing, you call 767, and then you move on to start cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So this is your position, and then you compress hard and fast 30 times. So you go times. So ideally, you have to commence your rescue breath. You have to commence your rescue breath. 2 rescue breaths. So you open the airway, you pinch the nose closed, you seal your mouth over the casualty's mouth, and then you commence 2 rescue breaths. But in line of COVID-19, we will not do this, especially if you are in the public, especially if it's not a member of the household, you do not know this person, do not do that. Okay? So there are 2 things I've explained now. The ideal thing and what you should do in light of COVID-19. If you are in your space with your family and the member of your family goes into cardiac arrest, perform cardiopulmonary resuscitation in the conventional manner by giving diligence compression and alternating it with 2 rescue breaths. But if you are in the public or you are with someone you do not know, it's advised not to do that. So what do you do in COVID-19? If you assume, it's safe to presume that everyone is a carrier, they're out there. So what you need to do is, if you approach the person, remember to put on your gloves. Again, you can as well perform CPR without putting on the gloves. But in light of COVID-19, it's not an option. So put on your disposable gloves, you have your mask, put it on. And so, once you approach the person and the person is not responding, In light of COVID-19, do not open the airway, do not check for breathing, because this procedure is an aerosol generating procedure. That means that the casualty can actually spray out droplets from as you're moving manipulating the air, the casualty can actually expel droplets of saliva from the mouth. So what do you do then? You get a piece of cloth and you cover the nose of the casualty and the face of the casualty. That's it. The nose and the mouth of the casualty. Do not check for breathing. Do not perform mouth to mouth. Remember to call the ambulance and commence heavy chest. No, commence compression only CPR continuously. So you keep compressing the chest of the casualty. Now, this is, you do this when you suspect or you assume or presume the casualty has coronavirus. So this is what you do. But for children, it's interesting. If you have children in your care, the assumption is that even if the child has COVID-19, they are already exposed. And so caregivers know that there's no other risk anyway because you've been caring for that child. And so you have that exposure already. And so what do? Just perform your CPR in a conventional manner. That is, you give the chest compression and you do the ventilation. But when you now establish the presence of coronavirus, do not open the airway, do not give mouth to mouth, do not check for breathing. I hope that is clear. However, one thing that is likely to increase the chances of survival is the AED. So this is the AED. This is the AED trailer. What you have to do is put on the AED and follow the instructions. I hope your school has one. I hope so.
A slide pad. Plug in pad connector next to flashing light.
Now, bypass, instruction is given here. I apply the pads as directed on the image.
Plug in connector.
I plug in the connector and I wait for the instruction of the AED.
Stay clear of
So you stay clear, nobody is touching the patient, nobody is touching the casualty, analyzing the casualty's cardiac health.
shock is on.
Shock is advised.
Clear.
Please stay clear, no one should touch the casualty.
Deliver shock. Now.
Deliver shock. Shock or deliver shock.
Shock delivered.
Shock has been delivered.
Begin CPR.
And then I continue CPR. Remember to keep the thought on the face of the casualty in light of COVID-19. Do not check for breathing in COVID-19. Do not perform mouth-to-mouth in COVID-19. Do not manipulate oxygen masks for the casualty in COVID-19, except you are a healthcare professional who is trained to do so. But this is the basic thing you need to do. That's for adult CPR, and it's basically the same thing in a child CPR. The difference is that you are advised to give 5 initial rescue breaths in child CPR or in pediatric CPR. And so you give your 5 initial rescue breaths. Remember, the caregiver will have been exposed already, even in light of COVID. So it can as well continue performing the conventional CPR. So you give 5 initial rescue breaths, open the airway in case you know, ensure there's no obvious obstruction. Do not put your hand in the mouth.
Stop CPR.
Not do that. And actually, there's no obstruction. Seal your mouth like Adult's mouth and give 5 initial rescue breaths. And by the time you come to performing chest compression, use one or both hands, depending on the relative body masses. So if you have a child, although the child is 7 years old, or the child is weighing 60 kg, and this is not when you want to use one hand. So you use both hands. Okay? When the child is an average child to an average adult, you use one. For the infant CPR, to open the infant airway, again, you use the palm of the forehead. You use one finger at the jaw, and then you tilt the head back one side. You do not pinch the nose. Rather, you cover the nose and the mouth of the infant with yours, and blow in gently 5 times. Use 2 fingers for your compression, and you compress 30 times hard, and fast. Okay, so that's about it. Again, do not forget, if you presume that the person has coronavirus, do not open the airway, do not check for breathing, cover the casualty's mouth and nose with a cloth, and commence hands only the hand. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
So I hand over to Babalola.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dari. Apparently, we had some complaints about echoing of the audio. I hope that is not a problem anymore, because I tried to fix that in the background. But lovely one. So we move on to the next module, and we'll be looking at other conditions such as bleeding, burns, and what have you. So if your victim starts to breathe normally, place them in the recovery position. So Daria has gone through all this. Okay. All right. So if the victim starts to breathe normally, place them in the recovery position by placing the victim on their side. The procedure is pretty simple. Place the hand close to you, draw an L relative to the casualty's face, place the back of their opposite hand against their cheek, pull the outer leg from the hollow of the knee, and gently pulling from the knee towards you. Place the casualty on their side, keeping the airway open to stabilize the casualty while you await emergency help. So the importance of placing a casualty in the recovery position, this position helps to maintain an open airway. It keeps the casualty's chest off the ground. It draws away fluids from the mouth, such as saliva and vomit, and also ensures that the casualty does not roll onto their back, as this heightens the risk of the blocked airway. If the casualty has started breathing, or initially the casualty was conscious, then you need to perform what we call the secondary survey. And I have an acronym here called SAMPLE. S is to check for signs and symptoms. What can you see on the casualty? What can you observe? And what can the casualty tell you that they're feeling? A is find out if they have any allergies. M, are they on any medication currently? Past illnesses, when was the last time they were sick? Is there possibility of a relapse? When was the last time the casualty ate or drank? Event history. What happened, where, and how exactly did it happen? So there are a number of things that can make someone go unconscious, but the focus of this is not on that. So we move on to choking. And choking is a very common condition. Children are especially at risk from swallowing small objects or small pieces of food or small parts of toys or pebbles and what have you. So it's an ever-present hazard, and we as caregivers or child minders should know what to do in case of a choking incident. It is simply the obstruction of air entry into the lungs by a foreign object. And how do you recognize choking? Difficulty in speaking, difficulty in breathing, casualty appears restless, they become paranoid, as they have an impending sense of impending doom. And how do you manage choking? Dari.
Yeah.
So how would you approach a choking casualty? So Dari will demonstrate using the mannequin. Just stop sharing the screen right now, and then we'll come back to the screen. There you go.
Okay, so
Hold on.
in light of COVID-19, again, you can caregiver, we have both already, so you just go ahead to ask casualty if you're choking. The idea is for you to establish if casualty is choking or not. Okay? So if the casualty can't stop, have to do things like food, maybe the casualty was eating, was on a meal. So I encourage them to come. If the casualty can come out the object. Again, this procedure is aerosol generating. So your exposure to coronavirus is high in this case. So if you're a child, if you're a caregiver already, you have been exposed anyway. So I ask the child to come, the casualty can come out the object. So you don't spend time. This is just a few second procedure. Come. The casualty can come out. The next thing you want to do is to live behind the casualty. In this case, the casualty is the child, but this is height of the child. So you and an adult can come note the casualty's height. Ask the casualty to bend forward, help them to bend forward, resting on your arm, and give up to 5 back blow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the object is still in the casualty's mouth or the casualty is still choking, and the next thing you want to do is what's called MH maneuver or abdominal thrust. So this is what you do. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the casualty is still choking, you repeat 5 back blow, 2, 3, 4, 5. If that is choking, continue with 5 abdominal thrusts. So you give 5 back blow and 5 abdominal thrusts 3 cycles. So you repeat this 3 times before you call 767 or 412. Remember, they are caregiver in the exposed coronavirus anyway. But if you presume the casualty has coronavirus because you're in public and you want to help, remember to put on your gloves and your face mask. In this case, you still have to be exposed, but you can't cover the casualty when they're choking. Because you need them to want to help them not at the community. What if an infant is choking? Once you're able to identify the distress, the infant is choking. So what you have to do, you cannot ask an infant to come, so remove that. What you have to do is turn the infant slightly inclined. Use the palm of the hand to give up to 5 back snap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn the infant gently and use 2 fingers to perform chest thrust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's first cycle. You repeat the second time. That is still choking. You repeat the third time. If the child is still choking, call 767 or 112. That's it.
All right, Dari, thanks a lot. Still have quite a number of procedures to go over. Let me have to share my screen again. All right, so just to summarize Dari's presentation, ask the casualty if they're choking. If the choking is mild, encourage the casualty to cough. If coughing doesn't work or choking is severe, give up to 5 back blows. After each blow, check mouth for obvious obstruction, give up to 5 abdominal thrusts. Check mouth each time for obvious obstruction, and if the obstruction has been coughed up, repeat the sequence 3 times and call emergency medical services. If the obstruction is still not dislodged, continue with the sequence, resuscitate once the casualty stops breathing. Okay, so we'll go into management of wounds and bleeding, minor injuries. We're going to discuss the use of bandages as the primary tool from your first aid kit to manage wounds, bleeding, and minor injuries. So bandages are multi-purpose and they serve a number of purposes: to hold dressings and splints in place, to immobilize fractured parts, to support and protect injured parts of the body, used for stopping bleeding, covering of wounds, used as a compress, and can be used to provide padding around or on an injured part. Okay, so we have different types of wound. You have incised wound, lacerations, grazes, bruises, punctured, gunshot wounds. Some of the signs and symptoms are listed here. Dara is going to show us how to manage bleeding, how to stop bleeding. There are a few tips here. Place the casualty in the most comfortable position, reassure the casualty, stop the bleeding, guard against or treat for shock. In case of swelling or contusion, apply a cold compress, clean dress and bandage all wounds necessary. Transport casualty with severe wounds to the hospital. Gary, are you good to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. So managing bleeding. For this, you just have to put on your gloves. Again, in light of COVID-19, you may want to find a mask for this. So ordinarily, because of the peculiarity of the situation, for minor injuries, you have to guide the casualty on what to do. So if they are bleeding, you provide them with the pad, say, oh, sir, why can you do this? You give it to them, you place it there, you give them another bandage, you demonstrate what they can do. And that's because you want to maintain the social distance and the physical distance and you want to reduce exposure. But however, it might be difficult, especially in severe conditions. So in severe conditions, you don't have to put on your gloves, put on your face mask. If you have it, if you don't have it, well, you may want to, you can as well go ahead without the mask. But the mask will provide additional protection. I hope you can hear me with the mask on. Okay, so for clarity, I'll remove this mask, but just until you put on the mask because of the situation now. So what you need to do is to make the casualty comfortable. This is an infant. The infant should be comfortable on your side. Raise the affected area, say it's the leg, apply pad and apply pressure. Hold it in place if you can. And get another bandage, roller bandage, roller bandage, and then you do this. Okay, so managing bleeding is as simple as applying a pad and a bandage. So this guy is bleeding from the forehead. What I have to do is, remember your casualty can also help. If you're conscious and the person to hold it in place. And then the next thing you want to do is hold this bandage in place. Okay? This is mine. Do not wash the bear injury. Do not wash the bear injury. Do not wash. Do not rinse. Cover the injury. Mind you, it is possible for you to have a minor cut. So for a minor cut, you may not need bandage, the kind of bandage you just use. So all you need to do is get an antiseptic wipe, open it up, and clean the wound gently. If you are cleaning the wound, you clean from the center, and the wipes are folded in multiple folds. So you only use one surface once. So you apply it at the center, you wipe out, you change the surface of the wipe, place at the center, you wipe out. Once you are done, you get the gauze pad or the dressing and cover the wound. You don't have to wash whether it is minor or severe. If you wash a severe wound, you will encourage bleeding. Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, thanks a lot, Dari. Very, very concise and straight to the point. Okay, so let's get back to the presentation. Sprains and strains are common injuries in the playground or the workplace as well, where somebody pulls a muscle or twist their joints. Please don't use hot compress. Don't use your boniki or what have you. Immediately somebody suffers a sprain or a strain, the proper thing to do immediately, if in first aid, is to apply ice. Okay. However, take care not to apply ice directly on the skin. Okay. So you can follow the RICE procedure. R is rest. Ask the casualty to rest. Place them in a comfortable position. I is ice. Apply ice. Put some ice wrapped in a piece of cloth, or get an instant ice compress. And then C is to compress around the injury with a bandage to keep it still and firm and keep the swelling from growing. And then elevation is to raise the affected area and then get the person to the hospital at once. Okay, so we're going to burns and scalds. So burns are injuries caused by heat, hot or steamy liquids, etc. The technical term for injuries caused by hot liquids or steam is scalds. So we look at the degree of burns. We have superficial or surface burns involving only the top layer of the skin. We have partial thickness burns involving the top and second layer of the skin. And you have full thickness burns, which involve the destruction of the epidermis, dermis, and any other underlying structures such as nerves, muscle, bone, fat, and what have you. So what is your first aid procedure for handling burns? First aid for burns. Basically, don't apply, let's talk about the don'ts. Do not break blisters. Do not apply pap, custard, or what have you. Do not apply milk. Do not apply eggs, whether it's chicken egg or ostrich egg or whatever, or whatever eggs you have at home. Please do not apply any cream or lotion. What you need to do is get the area affected under gentle stream of tepid water. It must be running water for at least 10 minutes, minimum of 10 minutes. Tepid water is water at ordinary room temperature. Do not remove clothing except in the case of chemical burns. Gently remove rings, wristwatches, or any other items that may constrict. Do not break blisters, as I mentioned earlier. Watch out for signs or changes in breathing, and cover the wounds with dry, non-sticky dressing. The ideal thing to use would be cling film, okay, or food wrap. Okay, so at this point, I think we've rounded up. We've rounded up the presentation. I see there are some questions in the chat panel. Big shout out to Dare Akinfosile for the brief and concise demonstration. Dare, wave. Okay. Also, thank you to the safety chick for putting together this sort of a thing. Even though we're limited by the pandemic, we still were able to do something virtually. We hope that the brevity does not negate the effectiveness of the class. We recommend that you take a full-scale first aid training whenever time permits. Thank you very much from me, Lola El-Imam, and from Dare Akinfosile. I guess we will attend to questions in the panel discussion. Mary.